My name's Albert Liu. I own and I run Idaho Movement Academy in Boise, Idaho. It's a place for people to come to learn how to eat well and move well. Ultimately, to really unleash their primal limitless potential. I moved up to Boise after quitting a full-time job working in the office, realizing that there's something better out there. I was living two different worlds. I was seeing a world where everyone was really improving like this, another world that was going like this. I wanted to be on this path. I realized in one world where it was like this, I was learning how to eat well, how to move well, and I was surrounded by a lot of individuals, part of a big community, supporting each other, helping each other out, and growing. While in the other environment where it was like this, I was actually in the corporate environment, seeing everyone sit down at their desk all day, popping back sodas, being sedentary, and not really taking their health seriously. And I was seeing serious problems with that. The illnesses we're dealing with today in our world stemming from that. I was realizing that I had a say in trying to help people through that journey. I was in the corporate world, and I was on my way to climbing the corporate ladder, earn all this money, buy the house, settle down, and live the American dream. But I was seeing that it wasn't going to be right for me, because I was seeing the other world in the fitness world, where I got to see true growth, true change, true health. And I had a scare where I actually wanted to go away from the office environment and go into the military. My health scare was there, where I had a duodenal ulcer, and that was really a hole that opened up in my stomach that put me out of training. I wasn't allowed to continue on that career that I wanted to, and it was the world telling me, stop, fix yourself, move on. So what I did was, I found a real job again, settled down in the office environment, started to see a lot of the same things that was happening in my previous job. At the same time though, I was more engaged in the fitness world where I had started. I started to delve into podcasts, attend seminars, even start learning how to teach others how to eat well, move well. From there, that split started. I started to see that I had the ability to help others positively, instead of being in the corporate world subjected to status and money and all that junk that we're all really subjected to. So I decided to take that leap of faith. I packed up my truck, sold the house I was renting down in Southern California, bought a house here in Boise, moved up, started Idaho Movement Academy right there and then. I created Idaho Movement Academy as a location, a home for people to come to learn how to eat well, move well. It's a really unique environment where you're subjected to the elements. You have the sky above you, you have the sun out with you, even the snow, and we're both indoors and outdoors. We've created a community where we have support from the other members of the community, of the tribe, to help you improve your health, stave off any kind of chronic illness down the line, and really create a big networking opportunity for anyone in the valley. We have part of our network, massage therapists, physical therapists, acupuncturists, chiropractors, business coaches, all kinds of professionals out there who can help you on your journey, not only in the 1 hour at the gym, but the 23 other hours of your day.
So this morning when I got out of bed, I did my morning routine, which is hydrate, pink salt, a little lemon in there, and did a little bit of breathing and meditation. And then obviously the next thing I do, if you're in America, is I picked up my phone and I went through Facebook and I saw a post. And one of my friends in the fitness industry had posted a meme. It was a photo of these cubicles back to back to back to back with people in them. And it said, "These are free-range humans. They are allowed to go out and roam free for almost an hour a day." And it's funny, but it's also really true. And in my own way, I was part of that. I was an entrepreneur, but I was going for basically other people's ideas of what was successful in society. You know, you get the money, get the car, get the girl, get the big house, and you're good. And I didn't work that way for me. I got the house, the car, the girl. Girl was fine, family was fine, but what wasn't fine is I still had this giant hole in my soul that I just thought was going to be fixed once I had the stacks of cash. And so that was the first go round for me back in my late 20s. So So the long and short of that is I walked out of a recovery center after the dot-com boom and spending about 2 years awake. You know what I'm talking about, maybe. It was devastating, but I rebuilt my life. But I rebuilt my life with mentors, coaches, and a new direction in my life. And the wild thing about life is you're always on a journey, and my journey hadn't ended yet. I chose to leave my marriage about 5 years ago. And I don't know about you if you've gone through this experience, but I think mine was textbook the worst you could possibly get. It was painful, and I'll just leave it at that. But what that did is it left me, when I left my marriage, I was in the best shape of my life. I subscribed to, put on the headphones, crush a pre-workout drink, and go in and just bust my butt alone while comparing myself to everybody else in the gym, right? And I looked really good. And after my divorce, I think it's exactly what the universe, God, needed to happen to me. I got crushed emotionally, spiritually, and ultimately that collapsed my physical well-being as well. And so I found myself a couple years ago literally feeling like, a loner because I'd isolated, because I no longer had an identity of dad, an identity of husband. The days of barbecues and baseball games and cheerleading tournaments were gone. And I got to sit with that. And I think that I'm not alone in this. I think that there's an epidemic going on in our society today which fractures families, and I got to experience that. And so in that really dark place where I was no longer crushing it at the gym, I got overweight, I got really, really depressed. And it was in those moments that I decided that I'm not going to go back to the way it was. A lot of people, they have this idea that I just want it to be the way it once was. I want to go back. I want it to be that way. It's not the way it works. And I got clear about that. What I really wanted in my life is something new and different. And what I wanted it to be about is about that voice that I'd heard from way back when I was a little kid, that follow my passion, my bliss. I believe that every single person is brought here to the planet to do something uniquely theirs, that literally as unique as our fingerprint is for them to bring forth into society, into the world. And if they don't, they're not the only ones who are harmed by that. We all miss out. So I think it's really important that everyone identify what that is and consider what map might be drawn out in order for you to fulfill that and realize that while you're here. Something that happened for me when I was basically driving around the country, North Idaho, figuring things out, spending a lot of time sleeping in my truck, is I had an opportunity to really look at where I was at. I used to think, pretend that I was over here on the map. It doesn't do any good to pretend you're over here if you're really here. Until you can really get clear, until I could get clear about where I was at, I could finally then determine which way I wanted to go. So one of those nights when I was camping, we'll call it camping, and I was alone, I started looking at the years up to where I was at. At that point, I was 45 years old. And I realized, optimism, we can tell ourselves we're going to live to 120. The reality is, statistically, and I don't typically go with statistics because the status quo, but when you look around, there's not a lot of 100-year-old folks running around. So 45 years old, I had to get clear that my life was probably half over. And if up to this point, it had produced the results that I was living in, I was going to do something different. And so that's when I dove into Carl Jung, I dove into Joseph Campbell's work, The Hero's Journey, and realized that what I was doing is I was literally pulling out that still small voice, listening to it and taking those steps.
I had met Troy Olds through a mutual friend, and long story short, we created a program called ASCEND Wellness Basecamp. It's the brainchild of both Troy and I. What we're doing here is to bring the networks that we have developed to bear to help the community out and try to improve their health. What I've seen so far in my short time here is that members of our tribe have not only lost a ton of weight, lost a ton of fat, but also gained muscle, gained power, gained authority over their lives. I've seen connections made, business-wise, relationship-wise. The opportunities we have created at Idaho Movement Academy has given people the chance to experience more than what they thought.
And so what happened for me, and it truly happened for me, is I love to be in service of others. I love the new idea that I have to let people see in so that I can see out. I was the guy who never asked for help. It's just not what you did in my family. So I learned to do that, and I came to a place where I could rely on other people, trust other individuals through practice, and with a strong intention to create something that was going to be a contribution to society. I was on that magic Facebook once again, and I commented on a post of a good friend, and there was a reply to that comment. And that reply was from a gentleman by the name of Albert Liu. And Albert said, "You know this guy?" I said, "Yeah, I know this guy." He says, "So do I. I live in Boise, you live in Boise, let's have coffee." And so we actually, I think, went to Goodwood and had lunch. And in that conversation, you've all experienced this. It's like the long lost friend, the brother that you haven't seen for years that comes around and you're just connected. That's what it was like. He spoke my language. He was doing things in the fitness industry with training individuals to be their best selves to overcome obstacles. And he was really dialed in with nutrition and really just philosophy, a philosophy that surrounded his and continues to surround the environment he created here in Boise. And so I knew what that was for me. It was, can I help? Can I play in this environment? And so from that conversation, ASCEND Wellness Basecamp at Idaho Movement Academy was created. An environment for individuals to come in and take off the masks, take off the headphones, don't worry about the pre-workout, we've got strong coffee. And just join in to a community and a tribe who's been there. We've all experienced pain. Pain is a touchstone of growth. When we stop avoiding it and start working through it, we start to see the magic in things. And then we don't have to repeat the same processes that create the same kind of, or that pain. We get to experience new ones, but with new tools and with a team around us. Here's what I believe. I believe that we are supposed to be in tribe and in community. I believe that, an unintended consequence probably of society is that from a very young age, we're whisked off to daycares, moms and dads go off to work to pay the mortgages. They come home, they're too tired to hang out with the people that matter the most. And that has caused a massive challenge for families and broken families. And people are looking to come back together. So what we have here is an environment that is fun, challenging, inspirational, and diverse. We've got people who are actually gaining weight because they were underweight for their own unique reasons. We have individuals who are releasing fat because for their own personal reasons. A lot of times we cover our heart up if it's been broken a time or two.
My name is Shane P. Troy came to me at a meeting and told me that he wanted me to try this program out that would help me mentally, physically, and everything else. And back then I was wearing huge shirts, 5X shirts. I was almost close to 400 pounds. I am down to 330 pounds now. And it has changed my mental status. I'm a recovering addict, and it has allowed me to continue processing life and enjoying life more. I would definitely recommend this to everybody. This is the best thing that I've ever done in my life, so it's awesome.
My name is Lori Lee, and I heard about ASCEND Wellness Basecamp at Idaho Movement Academy through Sarah Lamani. She was just one day telling me that she was applied and was chosen for a 12-week program with Troy Olt and Albert Liu. And she told me a little bit about it, and I was seeking some sort of change in my life. And she said, well, there's only picking 12. So I said, oh, ask Troy. And sure enough, the next day she said, you're in. So I was like, okay. That was a Wednesday. I showed up on Thursday. By Friday, I was like, what am I doing? This isn't me. This is too early. All the wrong talk. Period. So I said, well, just show up anyway to myself. So I just showed up, and I mentioned one thing about Albert, that my why is to be able to walk as long as my heart beats. She had just passed, my grandmother, at 93, but the last 5 years of her life were in a wheelchair, and she was such a dynamic woman, and to see her subjected to having to have someone else move her around, and the conversation always seemed to move away from her, and I don't want to be that person. So that Friday that I started self-talking myself out of it, I just showed up. Told him that I couldn't stand. I had problems standing, and all he did was one little shift for my knees to go out, and it engaged my lower body. And now, if I only learned that one thing, I will be happy the rest of my life. It gives me chills, just that one little sentence. So that was the one thing. And I just kept showing up. And the attitude here is we talk up, we don't talk down. You can't do that today, let's modify it. I am getting chills at the love, the commitment, the integrity that is in this group. And I couldn't do any of the workouts. And the last week, the 12th week, I did all of the workouts. My mind, my body, and my spirit were all working together. The community, I did acupuncture. I'm not supposed to say this, but one time, actually 2 times, getting stuck. I haven't had my sciatic since, which is a miracle. There are so many things that I can say has changed my life through just showing up and being here, being welcome. The people that have changed my life. Trust me, I had to do the work, and it's brutal. And I suggest that embrace the suck is really a good term. And I'm one that as soon as it gets hard, then I'm like, okay, I'm tired, I'm good. I like to stop at 3 weeks because I get a little waste. No, you keep fighting, you just go one more, just one more. The next day you do one better. And that is encumbered my whole entire lifestyle, knowing that I can do my best just for today. And I will be here hopefully for the rest of my life with the direction that I'm getting so far. So if you're on the fence, you don't know what you want to do with your life, I suggest you just show up, because you truly are worth it. And I can't imagine the life that is ahead of me because of this group. So there you go. Come on down.
My name's Jessica Sullivan. I just wanted to introduce you to Idaho Movement Academy. I was introduced to this place by Troy Olds. I was in dire straits for my health. I had been down to like about 113 pounds when he introduced me to this place. I learned a lot about nutrition, fitness, and what it does to my health. And I give all my credit to Albert Liu and Troy for showing me CrossFit, showing me how to move my body properly, and I got the best results. I've gained about 20 pounds back, and it's mostly muscle, so that's pretty exciting. I've learned how to eat. I've got a community of people here that I get to rely on and reach out to when I do have bad times or I'm getting down. But it has changed my mindset, it's changed my body, and it's changed my lifestyle. And I wouldn't ask for anything else to help me through life right now. And it's very awesome to be able to get up, come here every day, and put my best foot forward. And so with Idaho Movement Academy, I've been able to just change my life for the better and be the best me that I can be. And thanks to Albert Liu and Troy Olds and Idaho Movement Academy, I get to do that. So thank you. I would say to have an open mind about it. It's not as scary as it looks. I mean, there's a lot of tools and equipment here that you can learn to use properly. And once you know how to move properly and use the equipment properly, it really does change your life, and it's for the better, for sure. I feel stronger, healthier, and my mindset is a lot better. This community is amazing. You get to build a community when you're here. It's family, and you get to be yourself and be comfortable, and it's just a great place to be. It's like Disneyland, but better.
So we're going to show you how to move through those things through overcoming the different obstacles on the day-to-day. And it's completely tailored and unique to you. It doesn't matter if you've been in the gym all your life and you're in amazing shape, but you've got some things that you want to work on, welcome. If you're somebody who hasn't been in the gym for years, actually like I hadn't been in the gym for years after my divorce, for a couple of years, welcome. This is a place for you to actually, again, let people see in so you can see out, and that's the way it works.
I believe that we are stronger and more capable than what you think in our mind. I believe that we can heal ourselves through eating well and moving well. And I believe that our location at Idaho Movement Academy through ASCEND WELLNESS BASECAMP can provide all of that for you. Come work out with us sometime. Come ascend with us.